Currently, our market is a few hundred points down. हमारा जो retail side है, it's struggling to find motivation कि वो buying कहाँ करे. We are waiting for maybe शायद IMF का review जब होगा वहाँ से थोड़ी बहुत motivation आएगी. लेकिन looking at last year's history, इस time पे the market was moving in a similar fashion. Nothing to be worried about. हम बस थोड़ा बहुत consolidate कर रहे हैं. अब आज हमारे साथ एक बहुत जानी मानी शख्सियात हैं, someone very important जिनका 17 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है फाइनेंस की दुनिया में, जो मैनेज करते हैं $1 बिलियन और 300 अरब रुपया. प्लीज वेलकम अयूब खुरो साहब, who is the CIO of Al-Falah Investments. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
It is an honor कि हमारे साथ आपने during market times especially, I know आपके funds move कर रहे होते हैं इस time पे, कि you took the time out to be with us.
No, I think this is a very important platform to bring financial awareness, understanding of the financial markets that's very lacking here. So it's great to be here.
Thank you so much for that. So sir, essentially अभी हमारी market थोड़ी slow चल रही है. What do you think is going to be something जो push करता है for retail to be motivated कि वापस से buying शुरू करें?
So I think in the last 6-7 months, the market has done extremely well. The market has been up, it's reached a new high, 110,000, 117,000 points high. And so it's done all of this. It's done all of this on the basis of expectations of future growth, future earnings growth, and a lot of political stability as well has come in the system. Now we see that the IMF reviews coming up. We see December results are expected to come in. So all of these things are needed to happen, and we need to see what kind of results these companies will post so we can see the next leg up. So I think everybody's waiting for corporate results, how they pan out. We're waiting for the IMF review team to come in, see how we are progressing on our structural reforms, how we are progressing on our other targets they've given us. So all these things matter. All these things are forward-looking things that matter for investors to see and gauge their investment portfolios.
Okay, so essentially आप हमारी आवाम को गाइड कर सकते हैं कि एक म्यूचुअल फंड होता क्या है और कि आम आदमी के लिए वो एक अच्छी ऑप्शन इन्वेस्टमेंट की क्यों है?
Okay. So mutual funds, as we call them, collective investment schemes, and the answer is in the word collective. So these are collective pools of money of multiple investors together that have a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, fixed income that is managed by a professional team of fund managers, and this is how it does. So it offers a lot of advantages. So you as an alone investor would otherwise, let's say you want to buy into an equity market, you want to buy 5 different stocks. Mutual fund is a one-stop solution. You can just buy one mutual fund and you can have the whole exposure to that stock market, right? And one of the biggest the advantages is affordability. So you don't need to be a rich person. You can start with as low as 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and you can start on the monthly basis. So you invest 5,000, 10,000 rupees on a monthly basis, and you can have that diversified exposure. So that's one of the biggest advantages you have.
इसके essentially जब एक retail में इंसान खुद से जब bids लगा रहा होता है, खरीद रहा होता है, it's difficult to diversify into 30-50 stocks.
And sometimes you don't have the time. Sometimes you're at work, sometimes you're working. So here you have a professional team of fund managers, your money, your hard-earned savings into that fund, and you depend on them to do your performance for you, do the due diligence for you, and give you that return.
तो आप लोगों की पूरी research team होती है जो पहले research कर रही होती है, सब आपस में बात करते हैं about what is looking good, what to decide on, and then you guys diversify accordingly.
Yes, so there's a very strong regulatory framework behind it. We have research teams, we have fund managers, we have risk managers, and they have compliance guys. So we make sure that everything is according to the regulations, everything is according to the rule book, so everybody knows there's there's a trusted system behind at work that will make sure that the returns are optimal.
I see. तो जब हम बात करते हैं कि इन्वेस्टर कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट करना है हमने पाकिस्तान की कैपिटल मार्केट्स में, हमारी जो बड़ी पॉपुलेशन है और कम फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी है, कौन से मेजर्स कैन बी टेकन टू मेक पीपल मोर फाइनेंशियली अवेयर ताकि वो आएँ इस तरफ? क्योंकि अभी हमारी मार्केट बहुत छोटी है, 0.16% ऑफ पीपल आर इन्वेस्टेड हमारी स्टॉक मार्केट में.
I think the biggest problem is financial literacy, right? What this show is doing. I think financial literacy is financial empowerment, is what you need to give to retail participation. That is lacking. Second, obviously there are a few improvements that we can have on the regulatory framework. So account opening process is a challenge for a lot of investors. You have to go through a lot of checks and balances before you can open a brokerage account, before you can open a mutual fund account. we have seen a lot of easement on that as well. We've seen a lot of digital developments take place. Now you can open an account digitally, sitting at your house. You don't need to interact with anybody. You can do it at your ease. So all of these things are happening. Yes, but financial literacy, regulatory easing, and so one of the other spaces that has not come into the market very aggressively or in a big way are, I think, the provident and the pension funds, the institutional money, right? So you have these trustees, you have these investors who have not gotten that kind of risk exposure in these assets. So I generally feel that provident funds, pension funds are on the lower end of their risk exposures in equities. That can improve over time. So more and more people go into voluntary pension schemes, they can customize their allocations towards equity. So I think that could be a new avenue where we can see a lot of investors coming in from.
I see. तो आप behind the scenes मुझसे बात कर रहे थे कि US की जो stock market थी उसमें boom तब आया था जब 401k introduce हुआ था. आप थोड़ा elaborate करना चाहेंगे?
So again, in the US, back in the early 50s and 60s, there was not a big retail participation. And suddenly, when they introduced the 401k program, you see this uptake in retail participation. So in Pakistan, the equivalent what we have is the VPS voluntary pension scheme. You can invest in a voluntary pension scheme, and then you can customize that allocation from fixed income to equities depending on your risk appetite. So essentially, all the working class of Pakistan, everybody who has a job, everybody who has a provident fund behind them can essentially become stock market investors. So you have this pool of money that has not come into this market in a way that we wanted to.
Yes. लोग pension fund से बहुत डरते हैं. Why? And even the trustees, अगर हम बात करें, तो क्या उनकी financial literacy में कोई कमी है जो उनकी risk appetite नहीं है and that वो hesitate करते हैं equities की तरफ आने को?
Yeah, I think the problem is the equity market has been volatile recently, and when we look at these pension funds, technically pension funds are long-dated, long-term funds. They are there while you're throughout your life, your employment, they're there. But the horizon of investment that we see, and that's the general perception in Pakistan, everybody sees the short term. Everybody sees what's my next 3-month return is going to be like. Although these funds are long-term funds, and we know that the KC 100 over long-term period has done extremely well. I think it was one of the best asset classes in this country. But we don't align our long-term objectives of the pension fund or provident funds or any long-term investment with the horizon of that fund. So we are very short-term in our mind oriented. Because again, it's volatility that has not let us grow in that fashion. So we need a period of stability. We need to have that confidence in the markets that over a long period of time, it will deliver returns.